What's up, guys? Today we're going to show you how to never be boring in a conversation with a girl. I'm going to show you all the tips and tricks to make any conversation more interesting. So to make this more digestible, we're going to break down what a conversation is supposed to be into 3 parts. The first thing is the girl asking you a question. This is going to commonly happen on the date. I'm going to show you guys 2 techniques to make this a lot more interesting and fun, right? Instead of just doing robotic, like, yes, this is blah, 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 this is me. So the first one is simply to reply with humor. Kind of troll the girl. Say something that's semi-believable, but also outlandish.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from Nigeria.
You're fucking with me.
Yeah, everyone says that. My parents were basically adopted me when I was really young, so I grew up in Africa.
So are your parents like from Nigeria?
Yeah, why do I not look black?
No, you do not.
No, I'm just fucking with you. I'm originally from Russia. So basically the whole point of doing this is that you eventually want to tell the girl the truth, because if you kind of leave it open-ended, right, and you don't answer a question, I mean, you can do that a little bit, but eventually the girl's going to be like, okay, like this guy is just shady because he's not telling me the truth. The second thing you can do is simply make her guess. This is probably the easiest one.
Where are you from?
Take a guess.
Are you from Israel?
Why, do I look super Jewish?
You do look very Jewish, yeah.
What is that supposed to mean? You think I just kill Palestinian babies for lunch?
No, but you do have kind of like that Jewish.
I'm half Jewish.
You're half Jewish?
Yeah.
Okay, so, but you're not from Israel.
No, I'm not from Israel.
Are you from the US?
I am not from US. I am from Russia.
Oh, you're from Russia. What part of Russia?
I am. The cold part. The part that's very cold.
Every part.
Where they have the gulags, where they keep all the prisoners.
Siberia.
Where cute Latinas like you would never survive. So that's basically the gist of it, is you just basically, again, you make her guess. And that makes it a lot more interesting. You can see we got some good banter there. Now, it does help being in a relationship for 5 years when you kind of know each other's jokes, but you get the gist of it. The next part of our conversation is going to be asking questions. This is really important, because if you don't ask any questions, she's just going to think that you're not interested in getting to know her. Also, questions are a really good way of moving things forward in a more strategic way. But what you want to avoid is basically going to boring interview mode, which is like, hey, what do you do for fun? What are your hobbies? Oh, cool. What do you do for work? How long have you been doing that for? Basically questions that every guy's asking her on a date, right? And I'm gonna show you guys 2 techniques. The first one is, as crazy as it sounds, is ask more interesting questions. But the way you do this is by not being afraid to take social risks. You wanna ask more ballsy questions that the average guy is either not gonna come up with or is not gonna have the balls to ask. So for example, we're having a conversation. One interesting question I might ask is, what is the most awkward date you've ever been on from this app?
Actually with one of your people.
Who are my people, the Nigerians?
No, they're Russians.
Yeah, so what happened with the Russians?
He took me to this like Russian restaurant on the first date. Mm-hmm. The food sucked, and then he ordered kind of like this steak with a lot of onions, and then
Plov?
I don't know.
Or borscht?
Well, he ordered that soup and like that steak with a lot of onions, and then he tried to kiss me, and this was during the pandemic, and I put my mask on, and I was like, okay, bye.
Damn.
It's just awkward.
Well,
and he was so awkward.
This is awkward.
So bad, yeah.
Right now, because I actually made some borscht. I was going to invite you later to have a cup of it. I spent 4 hours cooking it. I wore my Russian hat.
You wasted your time.
That is too bad.
Because it was so bad.
I need you to eat my fucking borscht.
I won't be eating your fucking borscht. I'm sorry. It's so bad. The food of your people is
The food is so awesome. You just have no civilized taste. But that's basically the gist of it, is that you're going to ask a more interesting question. Another example might be like, Natty looks somewhat exotic, so I might ask, are you Middle Eastern?
No.
Because you have like the body of Latina, but your face is very like Persian looking.
Persian looking?
Yeah, like you have like Middle Eastern eyes.
No, I'm not Middle Eastern. I'm Colombian.
Have you ever done a 23andMe test?
No, I have not.
So then you have no idea. You could be part Middle Eastern. I bet you're like at least a solid 5%.
It could be like, and that very predominant 5%, right?
And this kind of ties into the next point, which is that you don't want to just jump from question to question. You want to build on the questions you say and use the questions to have a conversation. And only switch topics when basically that conversation thread becomes dull. The second technique is use your questions to set up yourself either DHVing yourself or telling a cool story. So here's an example of this, for example. Going off my personal life, I might say something like, so when did you move here from LA?
I moved here like 3 years ago.
Okay. And you lived there for how long?
For 7 years.
So how many celebrities did you run into?
I ran into, I think 2 or 3. Yes. What about you?
I ran into Mel Gibson at a party once.
Really?
Yeah, I was the whole time I was worried he's gonna find out I was Jewish, so I was like really trying to be low key. No, he's actually a really nice dude. We wound up talking for 5 minutes. Yeah, super nice guy, but
Is he like crazy religious?
He didn't say anything about religious. He kept talking about his home in Costa Rica and the solar panels. This is when I sold solar.
Oh.
So I was going to sell him some solar panels. But
He has. And how did you end up going to like a party?
oh, it's a long story. I'll tell you later. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. So basically what you're doing is, again, is you're setting yourself up, right? Because if I just jump straight into like, hey, let me tell you my Mel Gibson story, it's going to seem like I'm bragging. But you see the way I kind of cleverly set that up by asking the right questions. And lastly, I'm going to show you guys 2 techniques you can use when you're just chatting in general. The first one is going to be simply to slow down your speech for dramatic effect. So let's say, for example, she asked me a question.
What do you do for a living?
A lot of people don't believe me, but I'm actually a male stripper.
No, you're not a male stripper. What do you do for a living?
Why? You don't believe that I just take my clothes off for money?
No.
That I go on stage and I dance for them dollar bills?
I don't believe that. No.
Wow. Just wow. How do you think you get these rock hard abs?
Actually, you do have really.
These are
rock
stripping
hard.
abs.
You do have really.
All right,
rock
hands off
hard.
unless you're willing to give me $1. The second thing you can do is, instead of just asking questions, you can make guesses. Now, that doesn't mean you want to avoid asking questions at all, right? Because questions are still good, but sometimes you can just basically guess yourself, right? And especially if you make good educated guesses and you guess correctly, girls are gonna be like, oh my God, how do you know that? So for example, I might say, so let me guess, for work, I'm gonna say you probably work in sales.
Actually, I do work in sales. Yeah.
How in the world would I have guessed that?
How did you guess that?
I just, I'm just
No.
really good intuition.
No, tell me. How do you guess that?
Something marketing related, yeah.
But how did you guess it?
I'm just really good. You just gave me that sales vibe. When you were biting your lip really hard like that, I could just tell that you work in selling shit. No response necessary. But yeah, that's basically the gist of it. Is all right. You can just alternate taking guesses with asking questions, and when you combine with all the stuff I talk, no conversation will ever become boring. Alrighty, hopefully you guys found this video valuable. And if you're interested in leveling up your dating life, fun fact, we actually met on Bumble. Before you can start a conversation, you have to actually open a girl, which is why we have a video on the 7 best openers. Link is going to be in the description. It's completely free, so check that out. Thank you guys, and until next time.